Welcome back. So today we are going to unpot this Tradescantia zebrina and then hopefully be able to divide it into 3 separate plants. It is still in its nursery pot. It is finally dried out enough where I feel confident to take it out. So I am going to pot hopefully 2 of them into these hanging baskets that I got off of Amazon. They're self-watering, really cool. And then hopefully I can put one in here, just a little food bowl that I got at the grocery store for their summer sale thing for picnics, but I'm going to use it as a pot. So let's start with gloves. Put these gloves on. So this is a good time, I think, to repot her just because it is the beginning of the growing season. She is rather healthy. So hoping to get at least, like I said, 3 divisions. And then they don't have to be very large, but I'm hoping that I get them large enough where they have enough to establish. So let's just loosen her up a little bit in her pot. Let me take this tag out. So I've had her since the 9th of March. And it's taking her this long to dry out, which is a little over a month and a half. When I got her, she was soaking wet. She was still soaking wet last week. I'm sure she's probably still a little wet underneath here, but the majority of her is dry. So I'm just going to, let's see, where can we do this? I don't want to damage too much. Let's find a good spot to hold her while I dump her out. I guess we just go for it. There we go. All right. Put that in the sink, and then we have this piece here. All right, so let me just start taking some of the soil off of here. She's got a really good root system. Now, the root systems on Tradescantia, as in most houseplants, is very fine. So you do want to be careful when you're loosening the dirt. That's why it's best to, when you're repotting your houseplants, to repot them when the soil is dry, so it comes off of the media better. Whereas when it's wet, it'll stick on there. I'm sorry, not off the media better, off the roots better. I'm not trying to get all the roots off of here. All right, so there's one piece. We'll just lay her to the side, and then we'll just keep going until we get all of them that we can get. So, and I'm wondering if maybe this is more than one plant in here. Oh, we have a little baby growing. Look, guys. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. Let me see if I can bring her in. There's a little baby right down there. So have to be extra careful. Move around on this side and just start potting it out. And the sides are really hard, but in the middle it's coming out really great. So I will keep doing that. There we go. And like I said, I'm just kind of like massaging it off of the roots. So I'm not real worried about getting all the old soil off, because I do not want to rip as many of these roots and keep them as possible, because they will help us in our recovery here. All right. And the thing with Tradescantia is you can cut them and they will set pretty good along each leaf node. They'll produce a root if they're laying down into the soil. I have one right here that broke off that I'm going to see how it does in water propagation. I do have 2 currently that I just cut off and put into soil just to see what it'll do. But I have an example right here, if I can get it loosened and separated without tearing up too much. There we go. So if we look, oh, and the new baby is coming off of this one too, so that's good. So, but if you look, the roots grow off of each leaf node. These are actually climbers. They're not really meant to be trailing. You can get them to trail. The idea now is, in the ones for the hanging pots, is to have them be nice and lush at the top and then trail over the sides. But, you know, best laid plans of mice and men. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this off for now. Go ahead and finish getting all this soil off of here, clean up a little bit, and then we'll see what we have left and how we're going to get everything set up. All right. All right, so we're back. I did end up with 3 divisions. So we have this one, and then we have this one, and then we have this one. So, and they all are pretty decent sized. So what I'm going to do first is let me lay these two smaller ones off to the side real quick. And we're going to pot the big one first. There we go. All right, so I do have my bucket of soil over here. So let's just fill it in real quick with some soil. And what's in here is potting soil, perlite, and some orchid bark chips, and a little bit of charcoal. So let's move that to the side so we can set her in the center. See what happens. Let's see. Oh, and what I was telling you guys about it just laying in there. So this piece right here was actually attached inside. I had to untangle it. So that's what I'm talking about as far as if they lay in the soil, they'll just go ahead and attach themselves. So I'm just going to lay her in here and leave that there. And then let's just push the soil into the center. And then this way we just fill in. Oh, there's some roots out. Let's just set that back into the center there. And this way she's got soil all up underneath. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of water and go ahead and water just a little reservoir here, just to kind of get that soil kind of settled in after I pat it a little bit, just to kind of get any air pockets that might be in there out. So I do have my little pitcher here, and I'm not going to do a whole lot. It's just enough to kind of settle it down. So that, and I do have rocks at the bottom of this as well to kind of help with drainage so it doesn't just sit at the bottom. And then it's a clear pot, and you guys know me, I like my clear pots and white pots. Those are the best for me. They give a nice clean line. And then now that we have that, I'm going to take some of my Osmocote and just kind of sprinkle it around for some fertilization. So this Osmocote is good for 6 months. And then this way I don't have to worry about doing any mixing and matching and whatnot for fertilization. All right, that should be enough. All right, so now we're just going to take and fill in the sides here. All right, get the back here. So, and if any of these leaves kind of get covered in there, I'm not too worried about it, just because they will root as well, and then that'll just make for a bigger plant. So we'll just do that real quick. And then I'll put this one back in the east-facing window where it was sitting in its nursery pot on the stand. And the other two are going to just hang in that window along with my pothos that I have in there. And then I have a Nepenthes, and I moved my Brassavola cuculata there as well, because I don't think she was getting enough light where I had her originally in the grow shelf. Put a little bit of fresh dirt in the middle here, and we're just going to kind of shake it around, pat it, and then we'll pat a little bit more. And then this piece right here, probably just going to clip that piece off and then just stick it in the dirt. Let's see, and it's attached right there. So this piece, I'm just going to turn it around and then just stick it in the dirt. And there we go. Lay that piece down there. All right, and then we just need a little more soil over here. Okay, and then we just shake it a little bit again. Okay, a little more on this side, and then this one will be done, and we will get on to our other pot. And I'm just going to pot one of the hanging pots, and then we'll just see what the final product is after. So let me just, don't want to cover all the leaves. I mean, she does need some of these for energy. And then I'll give them a good watering as well. There we go. Okay, so we've got one. Move that one out of the way. So these pots, what makes them so cool is, one, they're cone shaped, so they have to be hanging pots. So that's what this is for, is to hold that in. Let me dump this out real quick and make some room. Okay. So that's why I have it sitting in this, just because otherwise, well, as you can see, we couldn't do anything with it. But they come in a pack of 3. They come with the wicker, this here, and pull this, just one of these out, just kind of show you guys. And there we go. And they're real easy to put together. So they come with the little clips in a bag, and you just take the clip and you pop it in on the side of the outer pot. It comes with the holes, and you just pop it in there. And the cool thing is you don't have to be deciding which way is up and which way is down. It's a one size fits all type of a thing. So you just pop it in there, and then we'll pop this one in. Let me move this to the side. Okay. Okay. And then what happens is you just take that, slide it in, and when you're ready, you just hook it in, and then you have your pot. But I don't want to do that right now because I don't want the hanger in the way. And then the reservoir, so this pot sits into about right here. So you have about that much of a reservoir, and then the rest of it is the pot. So let's put our wick in. And it shows you, like if you see the 2 bigger holes right there on the side, here and here, that is where you would put your wick in. Some of these self-watering pots come with the holes and you're not sure where to put them, and then sometimes you have it too close in and it doesn't really spread out the way it should. So, and I like to lift mine up just a wee bit at the bottom when I put the first part of the soil in there. So let me move this out of the way. Put the little bit of soil in the bottom first so that the wick is touching the soil and not just on the bottom. So now, if you can see, a little bit of the wick is showing and it's sitting on the soil itself. So, and I kind of have it a little centered as well. All right, and we'll just finish putting soil in here as well. And then we'll get one of our pieces and we'll see what's going on, how we're going to set her in there. Let's take this one here. All right, so I think she'll sit in there nice and pretty like that. Alrighty, and then let's just fill her in. All right, and that's all I'm gonna do is just fill her in like I did the other one, water it, add some Osmocote, and get the other one done, and then we'll come back and see what all 3 look like. All right, guys, so here is where they're going to live. I did close the shade because it is a little bright out today. Here's where they're going to live for now. I realize that maybe once they start filling out, I may have to move them and hang them actually from the ceiling instead of from the curtain rod. But right now, it looks lovely. Right next to my banana plant and my nepenthes and my cuculata. And then there is the other one. Not quite as full, but that's okay. I expect it to fill out fairly well. And I will pinch it back and keep putting it at the top until the top is actually nice and filled out before I let it start trailing down. And then the one that we put in the pot is right down here, back in the same spot it originally was sitting in the nursery pot. So hopefully that'll fill out. And like I said, this is an east-facing window, so that should help them out quite a bit.